Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the SH Monsterarts Gamera 1995. Now, this version of Gamera comes from the 1995 film Gamera Guardian of the Universe, which I think is a very solid movie. Guardian of the Universe is part of what most people refer to as the 90s Gamera trilogy, or the Heisei Gamera trilogy, which consists of movies such as Gamera 2 Attack of Legion and Gamera 3 Revenge of Eris, which Gamera 3 is not only my favorite Gamera movie, but honestly one of my favorite movies of all time. I adore that movie. But going back to Guardian of the Universe for a second, I think it's a very solid movie. You know, it's probably my least favorite movie in the trilogy, but it's still a very good movie nonetheless. So if you haven't seen it, then please do yourselves a favor and watch not just Guardian of the Universe, but the rest of the trilogy as well, because the 90s Gamera trilogy is, well, by a lot of people who've seen those movies, they are held in pretty high regard. So, yeah, I do recommend that you check out not just Gamera Guardian of the Universe, but the rest of the trilogy as well. So please go watch those movies. So, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to say, so let's just get right into this. Like usual, to start this review, I will take a quick look at the paint. And the painting on this figure is very good, so let's take a closer look at that. So as we can see here, most of Gamera's skin, or all of Gamera's skin here, is painted this nice grayish bluish color, which I think looks really nice. I think it looks pretty spot on to what we see in Gamera Guardian of the Universe, so yeah, the painting there looks nice. The underside of the carapace here is painted a very nice shade of like this like brownish grayish color, which I think looks good. Going to Gamera's toenails here, we can see that they are painted this very nice tannish color with hints of brown throughout, which looks alright. The fingernails look better though, because again, like at the base here, it's more of like a brownish color, and then the tips start to become more of like a brighter color. So, yeah, the fingernails do look nice. Now going to the head here, as we can see here, the tusks. At the base here, they start off brown, but then like as we get to the tips here, they're painted more in this this like brighter tannish color, which I think looks very nice. The teeth are painted a very pearly white, which I wish the teeth were the same color as the tusks here. It would have looked a little nicer, but still the teeth don't look too bad. And the rest of the inside of the mouth here is painted this nice pinkish color with a very nice glossy finish to it as well. Going to the eyes here, the eyes on this figure actually look very nice. The eyes are painted white, but there's like a little bit of like a red finish to them that really like just adds like so much character to this figure. And even like the pupils themselves, like they're painted green, but like the pupils like they're green, but they're very clean. Rhyme intended. No, but seriously, like the painting in the pupils here like doesn't look sloppy at all. It looks very nice. And unlike with my SH Monsterarts Gamera 96 figure, the eyes on mine are symmetrical. I don't know if you can see that or not, but both the eyes are looking forward. My SH Monsterarts Gamera 1996, one of his eyes was a little cross-eyed, and it looked a little weird. Like, it wasn't too noticeable, but it was still there. So it just kind of, it didn't look as good as it could have been, but no, the eyes on this figure are perfectly looking straight, and that's all you can really ask for in an SH Monsterarts figure. But the last thing I want to point out is the back of the carapace here has a lot of nice, this very nice shade of green here, which I think looks really nice, as well as a bunch of like hints of like gray throughout. So, yeah, the back of the carapace on this figure is painted very nicely. And that's pretty much it for the painting on this figure. This figure is kind of a repaint slash retool of the SH Monsterarts Gamera 1996, because they do kind of reuse some of the parts from that figure on this figure. Like, you know, the back of the carapace here, this is literally just the one, you know, this part, it looks, you know, just like Gamera 96's carapace here. And same with the legs here. Again, they just kind of took the legs from that 96 figure and gave it to this figure. Which, I mean, is fitting. Like, it's like, they're kind of like very similar designs with like a few like minor differences, but for the most part, they are like like kind of the same, so it does make sense. But still, the painting on this figure is still very solid. So the painting on this figure, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now, we'll take a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is pretty much the same as the 1996 Gamera SH Monsterarts figure, so I won't go into too much detail, but basically, the base of the head here is on a ball joint. The jaw's on a ball joint too, but it acts more like a hinge joint, and also the tongue here is on a hinge joint as well. The base of the neck can move a little bit as well. Everything here is on a ball joint, and that's pretty much most of this figure, just ball joints. The shoulders here are on ball joints, though it's kind of annoying because, like, these parts here, they keep, like, getting in the way when I try to move this thing. So, like, when you move it, you just get these gaps, so when you just kind of plug it back in there, like, it works, but then moving it, it just comes back out again. It's annoying. Like, a little frustrating, but I digress. Anyway, there's a bend at the elbow here. And the wrists here are on ball joints as well. The base of the legs are on ball joints. You can get a little bit of movement out of them. The knees are on ball joints as well, but again, they act more like hinge joints. And something to point out, when I got this guy, his his like cat, like his his bottom part of the leg here came popped off. You know, I was able to pop it back on with a little bit of a hair blow dryer, but yeah, like it doesn't move too much. You know, it still gets a little bit of movement, but not a whole lot. But anyway, the feet here are on ball joints. And the base of the tail here is on a ball joint as well. And that's pretty much the rest of the tail, just a bunch of little ball joints. So, yeah. And all the joints on this figure are very tight, and this figure can hold like a bunch of poses, so you don't have to worry about any of the joints getting loose over time. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the articulation on this figure. So, the articulation on this figure is definitely good, so I'd say the articulation here definitely gets a pass. Before we talk about the sculpt, this figure actually does come with a lot of accessories, as you can see, so we'll just quickly take a look at these. Just like with Gamera 1996, the lower part of his torso kind of comes off, so all you have to do is pop this alternate piece on, pop on these flame pieces, and put him on this included stand. And now we have Gamera in his flying form, which looks okay. I wish the flames were sticking out more, and I wish Gamera could look up more, because right now he just looks kind of depressed, and this could have looked a little better, but still, like, an attempt was made, and I still think that this looks pretty cool. You can put him in his other flying form by taking off the fire jets at the bottom half of the figure, and popping off his arms and head, popping on these alternate parts here, and putting him on the stand. Now we have Gamera in his UFO form? I forget what this is called exactly. I remember it had a name, but I, for the life of me, can't think of it off the top of my head. I tried looking it up, and I couldn't find it, so we're just going to call this his UFO form, and I'm not going to lie, this looks really cool. I'm actually surprised that this actually wasn't a feature on the SH Monsterarts Gamera 1996 figure, but it's really cool to see it here at least, so yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for all the accessories that this figure comes with. Also, one quick warning before we move on to the sculpting on this figure. These parts in particular, can be a little nerve-wracking to pop off, so do be careful when popping these parts off. Now that we have Gamera on the ground, now we'll be taking a look at the sculpt. And the sculpting on this figure, I think, looks pretty much perfect. I think this is a beautiful sort of reconstruction of Gamera from Guardian of the Universe. It's almost as if a guy in a Gamera suit just walked off the screen and is just on my table right now. I mean, the sculpting here is very nice, so yeah. One minor nitpick I do have with this figure as far as the sculpting goes, and this is more so having to do with the articulation, but I'm talking about it now because I forgot. But the mouth can close about that much, which doesn't look terrible, but it would have been nicer if the mouth could, like, actually fully close. Also, I just really wanted to create that one shot from Guardian of the Universe where his mouth is just completely closed, and it just looks kind of funny. Like, I'm sorry, it just looks fun. I just wanted that in figure form, but unfortunately, I can't really recreate that here. So, yeah, a little annoying. But besides that, the sculpting on this figure is still absolutely fantastic. So, the sculpting on this figure, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now we'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is just, it's sublime. Let's take a closer look. So starting off at the head here, we can see the ridges on the top of his head here is detailed very nicely. Everything here is just very nicely defined. And same with his face here, all of the little wrinkles and like creases in the skin there, it's just detailed beautifully. And even a lot of really nice detailing in the mouth here, like the roof of the mouth there, and like his tongue, just a lot of really nice detailing in there. Going to his neck here, again, just a lot of really nice looking like wrinkles here and like creases in the skin, which just look really nice. And same with the arms here, again, just a lot of really nice wrinkles and just these really like deep like creases in the skin. And even like the bits of scaling in his fingers here, just a lot of really nice detailing here. The underside of the carapace looks okay. These bits here, I don't think look too good. Like, it just looks a little out of place, but regardless, the rest of the underside here does look good. The legs have a lot of really nice detailing here as well. Again, all of the wrinkles and like creases in the skin here is just beautifully defined, and it just looks phenomenal. And even in the feet here, again, just a lot of really nice detailing here. The tail here has a lot of really nice detailing as well. All these little bits of almost like armored like plating going on here, which I think looks really cool. And again, the underside just has a lot of really nice wrinkles and creases, and it just looks very good. And lastly, I want to talk about the back of the carapace here, because again, this is a repaint of the '96 Monsterarts Gamera figure, so it's pretty much the same as far as like the detailing goes. But with that said, the detailing still looks phenomenal here. Like all the little bumps right here on the back of the carapace, and just like the overall design here, it just looks very nice. So, yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I kind of like this green coloration more than I like the like that dark like blue coloration for the SH Monsterarts '96 Gamera. But still, that's more so for the painting, not so much the detailing. But still, the detailing here is still very good. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the detailing on this figure. And the detailing here is fantastic. So the detailing here, I'd say, definitely gets a pass. Now we'll do some size comparisons. Here we have the SH Monsterarts Gamera 1996. Here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Gamera 1995. And here we have the Bandai Movie Monster Series Gyaos 1995. And like usual, here we have some hand sanitizer. And here we have Dr. Billy Grant. So at the end of the day, should you get this figure? I'm going to reluctantly say yes. This figure is amazing. I think the painting on this figure is great, the articulation is great, the accessories, the sculpting, the detailing. This figure is great, and I absolutely love it. But I reluctantly say yes, because this is an older figure. This isn't like a brand new figure that came out. This figure came out like around the time Godzilla King of the Monsters came out. And I wasn't really into Gamera at the time. I was like pretty much exclusively into Godzilla at that point. But I remember hearing people say that there was like, this figure had kind of like a weird release. So like, I forget like how it went, but basically this figure was not really easy for a lot of people to get their hands on. So, yeah. So like even back then, like I think this figure was like a little over 100. I could be wrong, but I bought this figure recently, and I had to pay like over $260. So that's why I say reluctantly that you should get this figure. Like, it's a very nice figure, and if you love Gamera, then of course, like, by all means, I definitely recommend that you pick this guy up, but this is an older figure, like I said, and this figure is very expensive, and also way more expensive than what he originally was. So, if you do get this figure, then be prepared to pay a very high price tag, because, like I said, this figure is not cheap whatsoever. But besides that price tag, I still think that this is a nice figure, and if you have the money and you really want this figure, then I'd say go for it, because this figure is still very nice. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.